What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have to go ahead and put this video out here because, again, the Call of Duty community strikes, and we all know how this community is. We typically can't make up our minds on what we want out of these games. And Treyarch did something very, very amazing. We can all say, what we want to say about Call of Duty as a franchise and Activision and, other things that are within Black Ops 6, because I understand it is pretty busted. There's a lot of bugs. That's unacceptable. But Treyarch did something so good not too long ago. They adjusted the visual recoil, the visual clutter, all of that garbage within Black Ops 6. This is something that we as a community have been begging for a very long time now, something that Infinity Ward has really pushed, and a lot of the development teams, like Sledgehammer and Treyarch, followed. And ever since it's been implemented, it's been a problem. People have complained about it year after year after year. Treyarch finally goes ahead and resolves this issue. They have basically made it where it's only recoil. It's no more clutter, no more dust kicking up in front of your gun, no more, your crosshair or, your reticle shaking all over the place. Where you're looking, you can see. And yes, there is going to be a recoil pattern following up on that. But, minus that, you can track your targets. It's been huge for mouse and keyboard players and also for controller players as well. This is just an overall fantastic change. But people are still complaining about it. Ladies and gentlemen, before we even go ahead and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And of course, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, if you guys are interested, you can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is something that we've been asking for years, because obviously, no visual recoil, this is what OG Call of Duty is all about, right? But it's gotten to a point where now, out of the blue, after years of the whole community complaining, now we're saying that this is not what we wanted and this is a bad change. Even to the point where pro players are coming out saying that this is just unusual, not normal, and bad for the game. Hold on. Before I even continue, let's go ahead and just check out this little snippet here.
Oh yeah, how do you feel about the new visual recoil changes? It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's just weird because I'm so used to just like controlling it. Whereas if like, I don't know, apparently it's the same thing, but it just doesn't move.
It doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. It feels like you lose aim assist.
It doesn't feel like it, right?
People that keep saying like it's just visual, it's the same thing. Like no, it changes the skill gap because now I feel like everybody's shooting so straight.
And then not only that, I feel like it also changes the way like you go about gunfights, knowing that you're automatically shooting straight. Yeah. If that makes sense.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's not just the pro players, it's, the top tier streamers, everybody who pretty much has a big name out of nowhere is claiming that this is a bad change, when indeed it is the best thing that we have seen in such a long time for the Call of Duty franchise. People are making it seem like you are literally shooting beams, but you're not. The recoil is still there. I mean, yeah, we can argue maybe up the recoil. I could see them do that to counter what they did to the visual clutter. But the solution is not to reintroduce the visual clutter. That's not the solution, but everybody is pointing in this direction. I saw a couple of good tweets over on, X, if you want to call it that still. But this is a great one right here from Lucci. I hate to say it, but I'm starting to side with the casual COD audience when they say streamers ruined the game, LMAO. The recent visual recoil reduction has made Warzone the best it's felt since probably Caldera, gunplay-wise, and people are bitching. Shut the fluke up. Honestly, completely agree with Lucci here because it's the truth, Me, myself, I stream, I make content, but I always, encourage people to, play the game they want to play. I encourage all different play styles, so on and so forth. And I always stay true to what OG COD is because that's what I enjoyed Call of Duty for since the beginning of time. And guess what? No visual recoil is a staple of what makes Call of Duty Call of Duty. Pinpoint accuracy. Let's be honest here. Let's not lie to ourselves. I mean, since the beginning of time, every other franchise, the people who enjoy different franchises, look at Call of Duty for its simplicity. The lack of, recoil and visual clutter within their weapons. It's mostly reaction time and positioning with, of course, recoil patterns, coming into play. And they have made them a bit more in-depth. I remember with Black Ops 4, they made it very clear that they wanted to have more refined recoil patterns. And it worked. It was great. But guess what? Even in Black Ops 4, there was no visual clutter. They might have upped the recoil pattern to make it more complex and more of a skill gap between the players. People who can master the recoil and people who can't master the recoil. But on top of that, they didn't torture you with all the visual crap. Another tweet here from Sin. Too much clutter, too much visual recoil. Treyarch, we remove visual recoil and clutter. And then the community again. Why would you do that? Now the bots can shoot me. Y'all are fluking, This was a huge QOL improvement and should have always been this way. Once again, completely agree. This is something we have been begging for years. Even the pros were begging for this. And then now that it's introduced, now it's a problem again? Look, I think it's an issue because the developers leaned way too heavily on visual recoil, visual clutter, to balance out the recoil patterns. Yes, we have recoil patterns in Black Ops 6, but they're definitely not that heavy, and they're very manageable. Let's be honest here. It doesn't take, rocket science to be able to, master pretty much every recoil pattern in the game. It's not like I'm thinking of it in depth. It's like, okay, it goes this way, then to the right, then it curves back to the left, and then straight to the right only, or this one goes up to, over to the left, and then to the middle, to the left again, to the middle, to the right. None of this noise, it's very simple. You could pretty much pick up any gun and get used to it within like the first 5 seconds. What made it complex is that they had so much visual recoil, and that made it seem like it was more of a kick than there actually was to the weapons, which once again was never a thing in the past, but they did it now. And let's be honest here with each other, ladies and gentlemen. It should never return, ever. I don't care what any pro says. I don't care what any streamer says. Anybody who says visual recoil, visual clutter should be reintroduced back into the game has lost their mind and has lost their way with Call of Duty. If anything, they need to increase the recoil patterns. That's it. But guess what? Back in the day, that's what Call of Duty is about. And it blows my mind that all these pros are saying this about having no visual clutter up on their screens. It's very strange to me, if I'm going to be honest, because, I thought they always respected what Call of Duty was about and, the idea, the concept of this game. Basically, visual clutter, you're hiding behind a cheesy mechanic, especially for mouse and keyboard. I hate bringing this topic up here, but seriously, that is like the number one thing that ruins a mouse and keyboard player's, perspective of a game is visual clutter because we can't control it. Okay, I'm not a guy who hates AA. Not at all. I think that it's needed for controller, and I've been a controller player for pretty much almost my whole life. I've only been on mouse and keys for what, like 4 or 5 years? You know what I'm saying? The rest of my years have been on controller. I understand the use of AA. I understand it's a craft that you must master and learn and get good at. But when it comes to things like visual, recoil, the AA helps tremendously with countering that because it will still keep you near the target. With a mouse, you can't control that. The only thing you can control on a mouse is the actual recoil pattern of the gun. But when the scope starts bobbing left and right, all around in circles, you cannot control that. Doesn't matter if you are a low tier mouse and keyboard player or a top tier one, you can't. I've even seen like the most skilled mouse and keyboard players I've ever witnessed, like marksmen, they're now playing on controller. They've just given up. I don't know if they're bouncing back to it because they did this change, but they just basically called it. They called it because it's really a pain in the butt. Now for me, I can't. I love mouse and keyboard, so I'm not going to switch up, but let's be honest here. This change has been tremendous for us. And like I said before, it's not just for the mouse and keyboard players, because this is how OG COD has been since day one. Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. All of these wonderful Call of Duty games made sure that you could actually hit your target. And what's even crazier is that a lot of these games are known as some of the best COD games ever made. People literally put these at the top of the top. All of these more modern COD games that are coming out here are compared to games like BO2 and Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, COD 4, World at War. All compared to the OG GOATs, right? Yet and still, out of nowhere, people are I don't know what's going on, but people are starting to forget what COD is. And it's really scary because, we're fighting for this. We're actively fighting for this. Ever since they introduced it into the game, the visual recoil, we have fought to get it removed. And then when we get it removed, now it's like we're asking for it to be reintroduced instead of, once again, hyper-focusing the real problem, which would be adding more recoil. But no, it can't be more recoil. We just need the visual clutter back. No, forget that noise, please. Guys, this just sickens me. It really does sicken me to see people act this way towards this topic, but please, this is a good change, and I hope that we can all acknowledge that this is a good change. It's just different things need to be tweaked now, not reintroducing back this garbage. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 morning Eastern time. Like I said earlier, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. You can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Peace out.